Yeah. Rick Rush
Podcast. So how does a New Jersey boy find Nashville? Like, is it just the song? Is it the story? Is it country?
Are we on?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, I've kind of been somewhat of a nomad over the last.
You're not in trouble with the law or anything.
No,
though.
not an outlaw.
Okay. You're not avoiding
No.
authorities.
I might have a couple parking tickets out there though. We'll see. But no, I'm grew up in New Jersey. Ended up going to school in DC.
Yeah.
And then just kind of kept working my way further south. I was living in Atlanta for a few years.
Uh-huh.
Writing and producing songs for other artists. And then when I started putting music out myself, it felt like a good move to end up in Nashville, and it's proven me right so far.
I mean, Nashville, it seems like the Nashville artists are more of a family because they're centrally located than any other genre. So
Definitely.
it's easy to collaborate even like across labels and
Yeah,
stuff.
if you're a pop artist, you're like,
there is no home for pop
yeah,
artists.
there's no home for that. You would have to go to, okay, well, we're gonna go to London this week, and then we're going back to LA, and then we got to go up to New York, and then we're going out.
And you guys are like, we're gonna go to Franklin.
Yeah, literally. You got about a 15-mile radius.
Yeah, meet me at Loveless Cafe,
and you'll be able to reach pretty much every artist you would want to be able to reach, with a few exceptions.
Yeah. Which do you enjoy, the songwriting part or the artist or both?
People ask me this question. I was having this conversation recently because, growing up and getting my start in music, really kind of behind the scenes as a writer, spending a lot of time in studios, as you spend a lot of time in studio here. But I'm newer to playing shows, so it's a little bit more outside of my comfort zone. We started playing shows not even 2 years ago,
You wouldn't. I mean, then you're naturally gifted, because when I saw you on the ACMs, I'm like, who is this dude?
Oh,
holy crap, he is awesome. And then the hosting stuff you did, I'm like, this guy can do it all. He should be hosting things.
Dude, I just try to bring good energy to the stage, and I guess the biggest thing was realizing that, like, the performance version of my artistry doesn't have to be any different necessarily than me as a person. So I can, crack jokes when it feels appropriate.
That's what it should be.
Yeah.
You should stay in your lane, as they say.
Yeah.
I mean, when people come to Breland, they should know what they should get what they expect.
Right. And it makes it easier for people to get to know me too. Because I think coming up, people always kind of, I would have people tell me, oh, like, you can't be an artist because you're not like a triple threat. You're not like a dancer. You got to be able to do all of these things. You don't actually have to be able to do any of that stuff. You have to be able to play a show that's going to suit your audience, and
you have to be able to connect.
Right.
And then that's how, like, the audience forgives a bad song or two every now and then.
Right.
Like Dirks will say that. He'll go like, I had to do some of the commercial stuff on the front side, and then they forgave me for some of the stuff I wanted to do in the middle, and then I came back with, so you just have to build that loyal audience.
Yeah, and that live piece in country music is so important, especially. I mean, there's no other format where an artist can tour for 30, 40, 50 years, off of the same music. Every other genre, you pretty much have to have new hits to be able to continue to play shows, and you're touring to, like, raise awareness of that. There are artists who haven't put out music in years who are still playing amphitheaters and arenas here in country, and I think that's part of why it's so important. These fans are so loyal, and you get a chance to connect with them early, whether it's, as an opener in some of these experiences that I'm having this summer. But then even, as you start building your hard ticket sales as a headliner, and people start buying into what it is that you do, I'd say you get something from that you don't get in a studio setting. So to answer your original question, I'm very comfortable in a studio, and I've spent a lot of time there, and I love that moment when the song comes together, where you crack the code, where it's like, boom, that's the hook, we got it. Like, it gets you out of your chair. That's an incredible moment. But seeing that same moment translate to hundreds or thousands of people getting out of their seats and being like, wow, this is amazing, you can't beat that either.
There have just been so many, I got goosebump moments at a concert, and you just remember those forever.
Yeah.
And you're a part of somebody's memory.
And we're a part of each other's, because there are certain cities that I've played even early, pretty early in my career now, where I'm like, oh, I know every time we pull up to this city, it's going to go off because the last 2 times we played here, the first 2 times we played here were incredible. And you build those relationships with people. Those are real moments that I think as an artist, we remember them too.
Who are some of your favorite artists right now?
Some of my favorite artists that have really been inspiring me recently. I love a lot of the Tyler Hubbard solo stuff.
Yeah.
Cool to watch him continue to grow as a songwriter.
He got the best of that deal though, because he's the voice of FGL. It just still sounds a lot like a grown up FGL song. Like, he just grew into this dad role, and poor BK. I mean, he's a nice enough guy too, but he just wasn't the voice of it. So it's
definitely
tough
easier
to see that, but they're both doing okay. Financially, I'm not worried about either one of them.
I think
honestly.
They would probably both be fine, regardless.
Yeah, even they got that bar to fall back on too. So they're good. They're good to go.
I actually had I had my only like near fight experience happen to me at FGL in Nashville.
With them?
Not with them.
Just
no.
at the bar.
At the bar, I went to this. This was back in 2021. I went, and I just met Tyler, and he was like, "Yo, dude, like, if you ever end up at my bar, dude, like, let me know. Like, I'll open the tab for you." I was like, "Dude, I've got friends coming to town this weekend. Like, that makes my options very simple." So we end up at FGL, and this dude, I'm like with a group of friends, and there's some girls in the group, and this dude shows up and is talking to one of my girlfriends, and she was kind of like giving me the look like, can you get rid of this guy? And I was like, can do. I go over, I was just like, hey, there's plenty of dope people here for you to meet. I don't think she's the one. Have a great night. Mm-hmm. Just super respectful about it. And he was like, what? You can't talk to me like that. I make 6 figures. And I was like, wait, what?
What?
I was like, why does what you make have to do with any of this? She's not interested, He didn't like the way that I approached it, and he snapped my glasses in half.
No.
Which, you wear glasses. I was like, yo, you can't snap my glasses in half. And I was like, yo,
I'd be lost.
I'm here on Tyler's dime. I'm not gonna start a fight in his bar, but I didn't start it. That guy started it.
Remember that time Tyler Hubbard started a bar tab for you, and
I ended up getting in a fight at the bar. Yeah, ridiculous. So I left there with no glasses. He ripped them in half and took half of them with him, which was really peculiar.
Well, he probably knew who you were. Now he's got like that.
Maybe now,
somewhere.
That was why he started the fight in the first
yeah.
place. He was just like, I just wanted to be able to have this memorabilia.
Now he's got a monocle.
Yeah, but I say that to say I'm a fan of Tyler Hubbard.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Tyler Hubbard.
I love Morgan Wallen's project. I think
it's so good. It's so like. I don't know how you can put out 38 songs and because I'm not necessarily an album guy. Like I listen. I'm a radio hit guy just because of the nature of what I do. But I've liked all 38 of those songs, and that's never happened to me before.
As I like to say, I'm definitely more of an album guy, but I'm single.
Yeah, there you go. And you'll find him over at FGL's bar on This Is How We Roll Sushi Night.
Pretty much. Also Hardy's album I thought was incredible.
Well, they're that core right now. Like
I know Ernest Hardy and Morgan are
of like if you watch the documentary, it's made the circle, and they're the guys right now that are the geniuses that were the geniuses of this. Like just to see how they turn a phrase. But I think the same was said about you from Dirks when you're like. He's like, I didn't know what he was talking about with one of the lines in the song. And
it's buckets for a Lincoln.
Buckets for a Lincoln.
He was like, what are you talking about? Yeah, $5 bill.
I know
Lincoln's on 5.
I mean, I had to look it up, but I knew later what it meant. Yeah.
Yeah, I had to come with bars on that song. I've got a hip hop background, and so even when I'm doing kind of more traditional country stuff, like A Beer's on Me. Like I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna do something that's like too bouncy that'll take people out of being able to enjoy the song, but I gotta come with a couple like plays on words.
Yeah, no, that's the fun part of it.
Yeah.
And then, because then everybody thinks they're cool because they understand what it means. Like, I'm pushing 50 and I'm like, yeah, I know what that means.
Yeah, right we've all seen a $5.
Yeah,
at some point.
Like it's for a Lincoln.
Yeah.
Man. How come Dirks didn't know that immediately? I did.
Yeah, I know. Who knows?
But no, it's cool things like that. And then like I said, the ACM performance, it was just really, really good. You and Thomas Red up there, and then some of the hosting things you've done with some of the other award shows, and
thank you.
I'm
man.
like, this guy, you are the triple threat.
It's a different triple threat than people think.
Well, they say that you have like 6 different things that you can be good at, and if you can master 3 of those, you
Who
find
says that you can get 6?
It's some podcast my wife's listening to.
She's a lot smarter than both of us, so they're probably right.
I mean,
I'd say hosting is definitely a skill of mine. Like writing songs in and of itself is a skill of mine, and singing is another skill. So if I could get really good at all 3 of those, I might
and then
have
just get you a management team and some security.
Yeah.
And then you don't have to worry about that stuff. Like,
right.
I mean, that's kind of like how I am. I'm like big picture stuff, but
right.
I suck at the execution part. Like,
I don't want to have to come up with the idea and see it all the way to fruition. I need partners, people who can help me get those ideas across the finish line.
Some of those collaborators, and that's true. I mean, that just makes you better.
Definitely.
And you find what group you work well with. I'm sure there are some go-to writers that
definitely
that are your guys.
Yeah, there are a couple guys in town that I was really proud of. One of my guys, the song that we played at the ACMs last year with me and Thomas, Praise the Lord.
Yeah.
I co-wrote that with a good buddy of mine, Rocky Block, who actually is a co-writer on my current single, For What It's Worth, as well. And Rocky did 4 songs on the Morgan Wallen album. I was like, I can't get a call back from him now. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Rocky is my boy. No, but it's great to see.
Only 4, there were 38.
I know, yeah. I'm
like, dude,
come on,
4,
bro. That's
come on.
9%.
Yeah. Whatever.
What are we really dealing with here? No, but I love being able to find people that know how to write one type of song and also know how to write a completely different type of song, because if you listen to all of my music, all these songs are very different. So I need versatile writers, and I also need people on the marketing side who know how to think outside of just marketing to a traditional country crowd, because I reach different people with each of these songs.
And the way people consume stuff now is so different.
I love the fact that there are so many people that listen to country music like on the low. Like there are a lot of athletes that I see, like someone like a Jimmy Butler, and I know you're not a big basketball guy.
Yeah, but I've seen 4 games in my life. They were all the Bucks.
There you go. Jimmy Butler for the Miami Heat, huge country music fan, and is always reposting like deep cuts of mine on his story. Nice. And I'm a big basketball fan, and Jimmy used to play for the Sixers, which is my team. So I'm a big Jimmy fan. We ended up connecting. I'm like, dude, I would not have pegged you for a country music fan. He's like, dude, everyone loves country music. They just might not know it yet.
It's true, because like we're the top 40 now of like what was in the 90s. I mean, I even say like Hootie and the Blowfish and all of those guys. Well, they'd be a country band now,
right?
Because you know that's where they would live.
Yeah, 100%. And there's all this crossover stuff. I just saw
it's good. And country has never been better, in my opinion. Like right now, you can listen to 3 different songs and get 3 different vibes, and it's all good. And people that go, well, country ain't country anymore. Like Ernest wrote a song that said, I took some pills and she took the dog. That if that's not country, I don't know what it, like. That's the most country line in the history of country music.
Violets and daisies, fight all the crazies. It's gonna take all you got.
Oh man, that
song is so good.
That's the most country song whatever was put out ever. And so and it's brand new. And those guys are doing that. Like
and what people may not know is that Ernest is secretly one of the illest freestyle rappers.
Yeah.
That you'll ever come across, not just within country music, that you'll ever come across. He's one of the best freestyle rappers I've met.
Do you ever get to write with? Have you written with those guys?
I have. Yet? Yeah, I've written with all those guys. I mean, Hardy's actually a writer on my song "Praise the Lord" as well.
Nice.
And Ernest is a writer on a song of mine called "County Line." That's on my project, and we play it out live a bunch, and it always gets a great reaction.
That's the group of folks that you want to associate with. Like they're the writing royalty right now, and and I'm amazed at how Hardy can just turn a phrase. And same with Morgan. Like,
They're all, I mean, you know what it is that we all grew up listening to those artists that were doing their version of that in the 90s and the 2000s. And we wouldn't be, look, I wouldn't be able to do any of the kind of out of the box stuff that I'm doing if it weren't for people like Keith Urban or even Nelly to an extent, you know, who came before, and I get to grow up with that and then start making what I'm making with those people as influences. I think, you know, when we talk about some of these guys over at Big Loud, like Ernest, Hardy, and Morgan, you know, they were coming up playing shows opening for FGL, you know,
I know.
And you know, and listening to some of these 90s guys and early 2000s country acts. So now when you hear it, you can hear the influences of that, but it's also so unique to their own experiences and listening to other genres and other music that influenced them now.
But also what it did was make them want to pour into younger artists the same way Luke Bryan poured into FGL, and then FGL poured into Morgan and those guys. So like they, that's the way it's supposed to work.
The gift that keeps on giving, man. And that brings us back to country music being such a great community. You know, I'm coming fresh off of playing an event called Breland and Friends in Nashville.
Did I hear that a fella named Keith Urban just showed up at your Breland? Like, so he's one of your friends then?
Yes, Keith is a good friend of mine.
And he wasn't already there. He came there for your thing. He wasn't just in the room.
No.
He came for you.
Yeah,
Keith Urban.
I hit Keith that morning and was just like, dude, if we could get you out here as a surprise guest, I think people would go nuts. And he was around and was down to pull up. So shout out to Keith and everyone else who came through. But you know, I was able to play an event at the Ryman Auditorium and raise $150,000 for charity.
Man,
you know,
awesome.
And everyone was down to come through and do that for free, you know, just because we have relationships and we all kind of value the same things and we all want to be able to give back in our own way. You're not going to find another music city where you could have everyone from like A-list headliners to like up and coming, just signed acts singing on the same bill for a charitable event, you know, for free last minute, you know, like that's it. Nashville is built for that, and country music is built like that.
Well, it's funny when I'm on the air in Nashville and they go, Morgan Wallen's coming to Nissan Stadium or whatever. I'm like, well, he's just driving over from his house. Like that's the thing. Like he's not coming to Nashville.
Right. He's already there.
He lives there. Yeah. Coming to the Bridgestone. It's
that is the benefit, man. I mean, I'm playing Geodis Park with Shania Twain in Nashville in June, as well as Kelsey Ballerini will be playing on that lineup.
Yeah.
And I live walking distance from Geodis Park. I'm around the corner.
Yeah. So you're just gonna walk over?
I'm literally just gonna walk over. Yeah. It would be foolish for me to try to find parking.
Don't go to
and
FGL
do all that.
bar ahead of time,
no,
because I wouldn't want you
because then
to
I'll
get
be walking out there. I won't be able to
you'll
see.
Have one eyeglass on.
No,
and then
you don't want me in a monocle, man. I'm not Mr. Monopoly.
That's awesome. So, well, I guess Keith, who's the biggest star like in your contacts right now?
Garth Brooks.
Garth, you have Garth?
Yeah.
Have you written something for Garth yet?
I haven't written anything.
I heard him say he'd do an AI song if it made him cry. So I've been working on that myself. You know.
I haven't written anything with Garth, but he's just somebody who has kind of consistently been tapped in with what I'm doing, and you know, he's like a mentor. You know, someone who I'll ask him questions
he's done
about
all right.
stuff.
He's done it. I mean, he's done pretty well for himself.
I mean, dude, when you start getting to a point where we're looking at like all time, all genre, most tickets and albums.
Well, the
sold,
only records that he can break are his own records.
Literally.
Yeah.
I'm like, I invited him to my album release party, and he was like, "Oh man, like I wish I could be there. Like, let me see what I can do." He's like, "Oh, I'm so sorry, man. I can't make it, but have a great night. I'll definitely check out the album." Come to find out that he was in the act of breaking the record for attendance in Ireland and was playing 5 shows back to back to back to back to back.
Yeah.
You know, in a massive stadium setting. No one has ever done that before. No band has ever done that many nights there. And I'm like, oh, that's why you couldn't come. I'm like, he's on a different level.
Well, that's definitely
but
true.
For me, like I'm such a sponge. Like I'm a student of the game. I want to learn from everybody. Obviously, there's a lot that someone like a Garth or a Keith or a Dirks can teach you just based on the longevity. But even of like some of these younger and newer artists, like I have real conversations with these guys to learn how they're handling, you know, relationships and finances and psychology on the road, you know, because these are new experiences for me, and it helps to be able to have people who have been through similar experiences.
Absolutely. Like I know Darius he's part of a sports management company in Nashville, and Darius actually made the most money in country music last year because he signed Trevor Lawrence. So he got 15% of 67 million. So Darius,
classic,
you know, doing all right. But his role in the company is to help with instant fame.
Yeah,
and you just don't think of those things.
Your life changes so quickly, and then there are all of these people, whether it's family or friends or people that you maybe don't even know, that want to have access to you or feel entitled to a certain amount of access to you, and managing all of those relationships as well as yourself is a challenge. Like I came into this year with a real goal of wanting to prioritize, you know, all of the relationships that really matter to me. And, you know, kind of give myself some space and distance from relationships that maybe weren't serving
like
me.
That guy at that bar.
Yeah, like the guy at that bar. Because, like, you know, I feel
rude,
like,
man, that was rude. You just trying to tell him to move on.
Not that guy, but you know, look, man, we played so many shows last year, and I meet so many people and exchange info, and you know, I'm a friendly guy, so I ended up at the end of the year, like my phone was blowing up with things that.
Text,
you know,
from some DJ and
where
Market
I was
78
like,
going, hey man, remember that time you ate at my house?
Literally. And I was like, man, like, well, you know, but you know,
I just wonder if you could do a shout out to my grandmother.
being able to like manage all of that effectively and to find balance within my own schedule for, like, I need to be able to work out every day. I need to be able to get sleep every night.
You don't have to.
Dude, you have to. For the type, trust me, for the type of show that I'm
doing fine.
Well, look, but the type of show that I want to play, bro, like I have to be in a certain physical shape. So like
whatever.
These are all
my
things.
Wife, whatever.
These are all things that matter, and it doesn't just happen by accident. You know, I need people who have done it, who can help me avoid certain pitfalls and be like, yo, don't do this, you know, try this. Oh, this is a drink that I made that you can drink before shows and it'll open you right up. Or if you're ever feeling like the audience isn't giving you this energy, like try this. And
well, here's a drink that you can drink. I drink this before every show that I do.
What you got?
And I do 6. It's sweet tea.
Oh, well, sweet tea will get you going, dude. I'm a big sweet tea fan, but I've been trying to transition to water.
You got to get on that Tim McGraw tour so you can be flipping tires and stuff. That'll take care of all of that.
Dude, the shape that Tim McGraw is in.
I saw him eat a Dorito once, so he's not fooling me.
He's not fooling it. He's not fooling me either. But no, you got some of these guys are, you know, you got to be in good shape. People don't realize, like, musicians, entertainers, we're small muscle athletes. You know, we go out and play shows for 60 minutes, 90 minutes, sometimes even longer than that. You know, high intensity in front of a crowd, and being able to keep your physical energy up and vocally and mentally over the course of 90 minutes. Like, you got to be able to do that.
The game's changed. Some of those artists back in the 70s and 80s, they weren't doing that.
Well, because you might just stand there and croon, and
I guarantee you, Johnny Paycheck never worried about what he was drinking before a show.
There are a lot of artists who probably didn't, but
I heard somebody say one time, I like country better when it was ugly.
Right. Yeah. I'm like, all these Riley Green looking, you know, Parker McCombs. All these guys look like QB1. All these guys look like they were like first round quarterback draft picks.
Well, a lot of them were college athletes that blew out their elbow, and it pisses me off that, like, so you're good at music too?
I'm like,
jeez.
Yo, like, I didn't have the option to, like, go to the league, you know? Like, that wasn't an option for me. I'm 5'8", you know? Like,
I was going to play Major League Baseball.
Yeah, like,
I blew out my elbow, and I just settled for this.
Just ended up, you know, just selling out arenas, you know, as a
poor Brett Young.
Yeah, I'm like, come on, man. Like, this is not normal. Like,
Matt Stell was going to be a doctor. Can you imagine that conversation with his parents? Like, hey, I'm going to quit Harvard Medical, and I think I'm going to go try this songwriting thing.
Or like, Sam Hunt. I mean, there's all of these like athletes and people who have all these other skill sets. I didn't have any of that stuff. I had to get good at music fast.
Yeah. I had to get good at this. Well, I'm the best thing at their price range is what I tell them. So,
well, I feel like I might be the best in my price range.
Well, I don't know what you make, but I know what I make. And
I'm
I'm the best in my price range.
Dude, high five for that.
There you go.
No, I'm about to, yeah, we dominate this. We dominate this price range.
But I don't worry about anything about what I'm going to drink before my show.
Maybe not.
Yeah. And my wife tries to get me to exercise.
I might play better shows if I was drinking sweet tea, though. It's possible.
Never know. I mean, you had chicken and rice and collard greens and macaroni and cheese here, so I'm interested to see how you do this show tonight.
I'm gonna be great.
You're gonna be taking a nap.
Yeah, no, that's definitely the snooze meal. We had a mini Thanksgiving over here for lunch before this interview.
That's it, man. That's how I roll here at the Rick Rush Studios in a spare bedroom in Market 78. All right, here we go. I'm going to just do some random questions. So.
Let's do it.
What's the grossest thing you ever seen? My wife, by the way, I'll explain these. My wife thought it'd be cool if she bought me internet random questions from the internet. So I break these out every now and then just so she feel like she got a good value.
Let's go.
What's the grossest thing you ever seen somebody do in public?
The grossest thing I've seen someone do in public.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I guess, using the bathroom like outside publicly. That's up there.
Where'd you see that happen?
I saw that on Broadway in Nashville.
Okay. It was outside of FGL's bar.
The grossest thing I've seen somebody do is grab my glasses and break them in half.
It was right after Brian Kelly got back from a safari and started dressing like a yoga instructor. Do you have a birthmark?
Yes.
Where is it?
I feel like I've got a couple.
Okay. I mean, I'm not talking about mole. I'm something that you were born with, not something that grew on you in adulthood.
Okay.
I've got some of those.
I was gonna say, I think we've all got a few of those. Let me think. I don't know. I feel like there's like a little mark on my chest area that has been there as long as I can remember.
Yeah, since birth, you think?
Possibly.
Have you seen any pictures of it?
I would have to look back and see. This is more of a question for my mom.
If you could do that
probably.
and then report back to me,
I'll get back to you on that.
I'll get your number before you leave.
There you
go.
You
like getting calls from DJs.
You're free to call me whenever, bro. You specifically.
Okay, cool. I'll do it.
Yeah, hit me up.
I'll look through my phone now and be like, damn, I got his number. I wonder if it still works.
I've had the same number for a while.
Yeah, I called Chase Rice the other day just because I was like, I wonder if this is still Chase Rice's number.
Is it?
It was. Would you rather sleep wearing handcuffs or a bike helmet? It's an odd question.
I would rather sleep wearing a bike helmet. I just think that the handcuffs, if they're behind me, then that's definitely not an ideal sleep
you're
situation.
doing some things that the record label needs to know about.
Right? Yeah. Then I would have a record at that point.
Yeah.
Right? It's a different type of
management wants to know what kind of stuff you're doing.
That's a different record that we'd be trying to drop.
Yeah. Helmet.
I'd say I'd take the helmet.
Yeah. Have you ever had anything waxed? Where did my wife get these?
My truck.
You had your truck waxed. That's the best answer ever from a question from the internet.
Yes. Anything waxed is crazy.
We got these at Amazon.com. We're Prime members.
There you go.
Know that or not.
Yeah.
Do you have a signature move or quirk that people notice or comment on?
Yeah. I don't know if it's like a move, but a quirk. I'm definitely like a big hair twister, sit here and play with a curl.
Mm-hmm. My wife does that.
Yeah.
Usually over one of my drinks, I'll be like, will you please stop? Could you do it on the other side of your head? But dude, she only does it on the same side.
But I'll do that while I'm sitting watching a game. And by the end, if you were to come to my house, you would just see strands of my hair all over the place.
So shedding?
I'm essentially shedding. I just have
what are you doing with those handcuffs?
What
is going on with you?
No, dude. I feel like when you have my hair is a lot longer than people think.
Yeah. Wow,
it gets up. You can't even see this. I mean, I've got a good foot of hair. It's just curly, but as a result, I feel like I shed a lot. The more hair I have, the more you shed. It's just me.
Just you? Well, that's your stuff.
Yeah, it's fine. It's all my stuff.
I mean, if I lived by myself, there'd be stuff all over the floor, but I don't.
Oh,
I live
dude.
with my wife, and her superpower is noticing.
I would say, yeah. I also living alone, like I feel like I'm rarely wearing clothes. I only wear clothes in public.
Oh, well, good.
If I'm not that you needed to know that.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of stuff the label's taking notes on right now.
Right.
Handcuff thing.
They want to know. These questions just keep
why
getting.
was your handcuffs? Why were you handcuffed behind your back?
Yeah.
And you were home alone. And how did you keep pulling on your hair?
But look, this is a hypothetical. I don't think we have to look into it that much.
Well, these are just internet
These
questions.
are internet questions.
Yeah,
these were generated by AI.
No, they were bought from some guy who thinks he has a podcast that sells this stuff, and my wife bought it for
well,
me.
there you go.
What is something that everyone looks stupid doing?
I think that everyone looks stupid doing jumping jacks.
I agree.
I just don't think anyone looks like the athlete they think they are when they're doing jumping jacks.
And if they are looking like the athlete, they're not doing them right.
Yeah, no,
because
you can't look cool doing a jumping jack. No way.
You should know you're on steroids.
I took a steroid shot. For my voice.
For your voice.
Yes.
Well, they didn't. They
didn't specify.
No, he asked me to find you a guy in North Charleston that could give you some steroids.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
so I just started calling some friends because a buddy of mine just became chief of police.
Yeah, you said I know a guy down at the gym.
Yeah.
Kickboxer.
But he didn't say it was for your voice. If I'd have known that,
if you had known that,
I would have called a reputable place.
There you go.
But you got it handled, right?
We've got some shady guys outside right now waiting to get a deal done. So,
well, you like to be handcuffed and naked, apparently.
It's gonna be a tough night.
There you go. Good thing you're going to that brewery.
Yes,
in that
the Rusty Bowl.
Yeah. If humans came with a warning label, what would yours say?
Like what's I guess like too hot to handle.
Is that what it was saying?
Yeah.
Well, how about that?
Yeah, that's what it was saying.
I didn't see that coming.
Everything's better with the hot sauce. You had some spicy greens. You gave us some spicy collards earlier.
Well, that's how I roll.
No, I like that a lot.
I got a little heavy-handed with the Soul's food seasoning.
No, dude, I liked it.
Well,
I'm saying that to say that's how I like my greens.
Well, I'd read up on you.
There you go.
Yeah, I've done some research on the internet. What do you think one of the biggest cons of being famous would be? And you're on the brink because you're getting calls from folks.
I feel like
stop giving your number out to people.
I know. I'm working on it. I would say like public recognizability is probably a downside for sure. Because then you get to a point where you might be like trying to have dinner or like at an airport, or like on the phone, but like you have to be respectful to the people that come over to you, I guess, to an extent.
I had so many artists tell me that was the upside of COVID, wearing masks.
Yeah, it's harder to. I think the tougher thing is like a lot of these country artists kind of could just look like other guys.
Yeah. And a lot of other guys look like them.
Yeah, I know a lot of guys that look like some of these guys. Whereas like
our church every day is like, damn, I think that's Parker McCollum.
Is that Luke? Okay. But no, I've got like I've got like a very specific face, hair, ears, jewelry, and accessories combination that despite not being all that famous, I am pretty recognizable.
Yeah.
Like me and Sam Hunt have been out to
you get
bars
and Sam Hunt?
No.
Oh.
But me and Sam Hunt have been out to bars together, and he is instantly, way more famous and popular than I am. But I've been the more recognizable person between the two of us because I think some people are just like, oh, like that's the quarterback from, Tennessee State.
Yeah, wherever he played.
Wherever,
Yeah. When he was living 7 minutes from that girl's mailbox.
Right. These things are all documented in songs.
When you're having a conversation with Sam Hunt, do you feel like he could break into song at any time because his voice is so recognizable?
When he starts talking, when he starts talking, depending on the story that he's telling, definitely.
I hear that.
If he's ever telling a story about like his childhood or something like that, where he's like, growing up, my dad told me that I could, he gets into that kind of cadence, and I'm like, we need chords under this.
I was hungry
for sure.
This morning. I got a honey bun, something like that.
He could break. He could. I would say if there was ever an award for like the country artist most likely to break into song, not that he actually would break into song,
right?
But it always seems like he's on the verge of breaking into one.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Like I'll take some of his actuality, like when they send down bits, and I'll put them in his songs. Like one time he was driving around his farm and I made that match up to whatever, one of the songs where he was talking, and it was perfect. I'm like,
this is
a
right in
Rick Rush remix. And I told my wife she had a body like a back road. She's like, what does that mean? What is that? I said,
did she appreciate it?
No, she said, what does that mean? I look big in these jeans. I'm like, no, I'm just Sam hunting you. Damn. Just let me Sam hunt you a minute.
Yeah.
And hips like a Hyundai, and I still don't understand that one. So
you get it.
She did not like when I said she had hips like a Hyundai.
Okay. Well, we gotta work. Yeah, you might not be able to get that.
I later found out that it was honey, so that makes more sense.
It's like
honey. I just heard the song wrong.
Hyundai.
So, I mean, it was actually an insult. She was right to be mad about the Hyundai.
Yeah, you don't want to have hips like a Hyundai per se.
No, but honey, that's a whole other thing. She would appreciate me Sam hunting her like that. Were you ever really passionate about something and then suddenly lost interest in it?
Yes.
Except this conversation.
No, I definitely I go through phases with things. Like there was a period of time in high school where I was the most I was actually like an internationally ranked like competitive Tetris player.
Oh, and you shared is that on any of your bio stuff?
Probably not.
Okay, like from like a Game Boy or
no, like on a computer.
Oh, serious stuff.
And like
not amateur Game Boy stuff.
No. I get busy. I mean, but it got to the point where I was skipping classes to play Tetris tournaments because most of the people that are really good at Tetris in the world.
Ken Burns didn't include that in the documentary.
I know, yeah, he should have. He missed the PBS is falling off. No, because most of the people that are really good at Tetris in the world are in Asia, and so you would have to, they're playing at night. Yeah. But then over here in the States, it's like, middle of the day or like, in the morning. And I would be in class on my computer playing Tetris.
I bet your mom was like, man, why couldn't you just been on drugs? No.
It would have probably been easier. No, because Tetris, you get that feeling. It is kind of like a drug because you're if you're really good at it, it's kind of you're winning. You're getting like that boost in your, the dopamine or whatever. But
I get that from Adderall.
But then I like peaked out on the leaderboards. I was like number 1 on the American leaderboard, and I was like, all right, I'm good.
There you go.
I'm done.
And then you had to go to what, 3rd period?
Yeah, pretty much. I had to go learn about like anatomy or something.
There you go. All right, last question because I know you got to get over that place.
Let's do it.
Let's see if there's a good one in here. One that would make it worth the whole deck that my wife paid for. We're Prime members though. I mean, they'll text me ahead of time and go, "Hey, you've got some stuff coming." I don't know.
Nice.
So if you ever need anything,
no, I'm also a Prime member.
Oh, you're a Prime member too?
I was also the Amazon Breakthrough Artist of 2022. So
I hadn't heard of it.
Yeah, that's
anyway. They didn't text me. They didn't text me about that.
They didn't send that to Prime users.
Nope.
We got to re-up on our deal.
In one sentence.
Okay.
How? That's a stupid question.
I was ready.
If animals could talk, which would be the rudest?
Foxes.
Foxes?
100%.
Why?
They grow up in really challenging circumstances. They're the only canids that whose parents don't teach them how to find food, how to
My cousin Leonard's
behave.
Parents didn't do any of that.
and do you think if he could talk?
Well, he's very rude.
That's my point.
My cousin Leonard and foxes are the rudest animals.
Yes.
Whatever lived. Well, there you go. That's Breland.
There you have it.
You've learned a lot about him. I don't know that any other interview that's ever been done at any level, from Bobby Bones down to, the guy in Myrtle Beach. Like, I don't know that this death, like, I feel like this video I'll give to Ken Burns for him to mine through the next.
This is its own 3-part docuseries.
Yeah,
definitely.
Because we talked about Tetris
on Amazon Prime.
About that time you went to Florida Georgia Line's bar. Talked about some of the nakedness and handcuffing things that happens.
Don't worry about what happens in the privacy of the Breland home.
That's right. But you'll find out in this 3-part document series.
This is my tell-all, my interview with you, man.
That's right. And it's available everywhere on the iHeart Radio app. Just look for the Rick Rush Plus podcast.
There you go.
Breland, everybody. That was awesome.